When you have a singular focus on a goal or an outcome that you want to achieve, you can obsess over it. And when you're obsessed and you have that tunnel vision, everything else gets cast aside. The best advice I can give to anyone is just focus on one freaking thing when it comes to business and get obsessed over it. But a person without a vision will always get lost and they will always get sidetracked. Just remember that. If you don't have a focus, if you're not going to a specific point into the future and a place you want to be in life, you're never going to get there. Welcome back to another episode of the Unstoppable Mindset Podcast. I'm your host, Sean Michael Crane. Today's episode, I want to share with you 6 reasons people don't achieve their goals in life. This is really important because I think a lot of times on social media or podcasting, you'll hear people talk about all the things you need to do to change and improve. Sometimes when it comes to changing, it's just as easy to know what not to do as it is knowing what to do. And sometimes it's easier to cut things out of your life than to focus on new things you have to do. Because anytime you open up space by eliminating people, bad habits, old ways of doing things, it opens up space for you to now integrate the right way to do things, the right people to be around, the right way to spend your time. And so it's just the way the brain works. You know, sometimes you don't believe in your goals or your future, all that stuff that you want to achieve, but you do understand what needs to happen right now in order for you to improve your life, right? But when I think about reasons why people don't change or why they don't achieve their goals, the first thing that stands out is they don't get clear on what they actually want. And you'll hear people talk about your vision or having goals. And the brain does really well when you have detail, right? When you have a singular focus on a goal or an outcome that you want to achieve, you can obsess over it. And when you're obsessed and you have that tunnel vision, everything else gets cast aside. It's really easy to make decisions. You're more decisive, you're more focused, you'll have more energy. It just is going to make it that much more possible for you to get to where you want to go, right? But if you don't have your goals defined or your vision clear in your mind, how the heck are you going to get there, right? And I see this happen a lot of time to people. They're really indecisive. One day they want to be a freaking astronaut. The next day they want to be an investor. Then they want to be a UFC fighter. Then they want to flip homes and be in real estate. And it's just like they're all over the place. The best advice I can give to anyone is just focus on one freaking thing when it comes to business and get obsessed over it. And if you don't know what you want to do in business, just start working on yourself and get clear on who your ideal best self would be. Almost like you could sketch that person out. How would they dress? What would their hair be like? What would their physique be like? What were their mannerisms, their characteristics? I remember when I started changing my life in jail, I knew that I wanted to be outgoing and charismatic. I knew that I wanted to be educated. And, being fit, I didn't think about being shredded AF. I didn't think about I want to be a bodybuilder. I just wanted to be athletic. I wanted to be physical. I wanted to use my body. I had been an athlete my whole life, but then when I was using drugs and alcohol for 10 years, I didn't do anything physical. I wasn't pushing my body. And for me, I'm always just an athlete at heart, right? I love to run, bike, swim, lift weights, do marathons, play sports. That's just who I am. That's a part of my core identity. So when I started changing my life, the 2 things that really stood out were being more outgoing and charismatic. I wanted to be able to walk into a room and captivate people's attention. I wanted to be charismatic with talking to girls, females, family, friends. I just saw the guys in movies who played that role, and I was drawn to that. I thought, man, that individual captures people's attention. They make these people laugh. They bring a good energy into the room. I wanted to be like that. And the second thing I thought about was being educated because I wasn't smart. When I got incarcerated, I thought I was just lacking intelligence. I knew I was street smart. I was good in social settings, making friends, but I had never applied myself in school. And so that was a limitation I had in my self-image. But once I started reading and writing, my mind came alive and my speed of thought, my memory, those neurons just started firing, man. And I created new programs in my brain. So in a very short period of time, I believed that I was smart and I could learn and educate myself, and I was becoming more comfortable being my true self, and that led to me being more authentic and genuine and charismatic. So those were the 2 things I focused on in the very beginning of my transformation. So my message when it comes to having a vision is you don't need to have your whole life mapped out. The bigger vision and your calling is going to emerge over time when you start fixing what's right in front of you and focusing on the things that you want to change. Focus on 1 to 3 things at a time. Don't try to just change your whole life overnight. For some of you listening, it might be you need to get in the gym and lose that weight. Maybe you need to read more and educate yourself. I don't know. Maybe you need to get sober. Make a list. What are those 2, 3, 4 things that you need to focus on right now that you can start to change? Once you start to implement that change, I'm telling you, you're going to start to think about your life, and you're going to start to get more clear on your goals and your vision. But a person without a vision will always get lost, and they will always get sidetracked. Just remember that. If you don't have a focus, if you're not going to a specific point into the future and a place you want to be in life, you're never going to get there. If you don't have it defined, how are you going to get there? You're going to get sidetracked, you're going to make excuses, and you're going to get lost. Second reason why people don't achieve their goals is they have negative self-talk and limiting beliefs. And this kind of stems from not having clarity around who you want to be. If you know that you want to be a better person, but you're drinking, or if you're not working out, you're out of shape, you're just being a jerk to people, like, you're going to have negative self-talk. I once heard somebody say that the negative self-talk individuals have is the most honest thing about themselves. And it's kind of true. Like, when you're doing all the right stuff in your life and you're on a good path and you're improving yourself every day and you're giving your best effort, you're not likely to have as much negative self-talk. We all have inner fears. We're all going to experience doubt at some times. But when you're really going all in to be your best self, and again, like that vision of who you want to be every day, you're striving to be that man, you're striving to be that woman, that negative self-talk is going to start to dissipate, okay? Then the further you get along on your journey of taking action and proving yourself, those perceived limitations in your life, you're going to realize that they're just figments of your imagination. And you're placing these limitations on yourself. And in fact, you could break through them at any time and prove them false, right? And that's a big aspect of transformation and living an amazing life, is facing your fears and proving them false through positive action. We all have fears. We all have these perceived limitations, whether it's around the amount of money you can make, the type of house you could live in, the family that you could have, the car that you could drive, the career that you could live, the body that you can create, whatever. Those limitations are only real if you give them credence, right? Through non-action, or by default because you don't go after bigger goals, right? Does that make sense? So your limitations only become real when you let them define how you live your life. But if you're willing to face those fears and prove those things false and break through those limitations, right? Maybe you become the first millionaire in your family. Maybe you become the first college educated member of your family. Maybe like me, you break the family curse that we had, the Crane curse, and you get sober and stay sober. And now my kids grow up in a household where there's no alcohol, no drugs. They don't even know what it is. Like, I broke through those limitations. My dad couldn't do it. My uncles couldn't do it. My cousins couldn't do it. Like, they let those limitations define who they became, and they lived in that world of limitations where, oh, we're just drunks. Oh, we're just addicts. Oh, this is just what we do. No, screw that. You could redefine who you are and what you do at any time, okay? Now, the third thing that people struggle with, and that's just why they don't achieve their goals, is they're inconsistent in the success-focused habits. So for me, I've been getting up early for the last 13 years. Got up at 4 a.m. today, did what I've done for the last decade plus. Have an hour of self-reflection. I pray, I meditate, I journal, I read, and then I go to the gym and work out. That's my morning routine that sets the tone for my entire day. That gets my mind right, that gets my energy right, that helps me to feel in a better mood. I'm more elevated, so I bring that energy into the world. And that's a real big reason why I've been able to create success, whether it's online, coaching, with my wife, as a father. It's because the energy I'm bringing into my interactions. I'm bringing high-level energy. I'm bringing love and gratitude for the way that I'm living and the things I'm doing into my relationships, and people feel that. And with business, like business, especially entrepreneurship, and if you're a business owner, it's just a transfer of energy. And it's all about building relationships with the right people and creating win-win scenarios. So for me, like, I'm sober, I'm fit, I'm happy, I'm taking care of myself. Of course, I'm going to bring a good energy into the rooms I enter, right? And I learned a long time ago that that's the catalyst for success, whether it's money or opportunity or whatever it is that you want, just more fulfilling relationships, better experiences in life. So if you're not consistent in your daily habits and routines, you're going to create more doubt. There's going to be that negative internal dialogue because you're not doing the things you know you should do. That is going to have the opposite effect in your world that I'm having, right? So like, it's going to affect relationships. It's going to affect your opportunities. You're going to bring in that self-conscious energy through your body language when you enter into rooms. You can't fake it, right? So you have to recognize your habits over time are going to either make or break you. Number 4, this is a big one for a lot of people. Vices and pleasure-seeking behavior. So drinking, using drugs, even like abusing food, or a lot of guys are addicted to porn, pleasure-seeking behavior, right? So those things are going to sabotage you over time. I don't care if you're a business owner and you're stressed out and you need a drink, or you're just somebody who's partying a lot, whatever it is. When you're doing things that go against your best self and who you want to be, it's going to slow you down. Eventually, it's going to derail you. But like the person, like I said earlier, who has singular focus on a goal and they're obsessed, none of that stuff fits into the equation. That person gets ahead so fast. That person has obsession over their goals. So now they're relentless in the daily habits and actions that are going to get them there. Their self-talk is going to be more positive and optimistic because they're doing the work every day and they're moving towards their goals. Why would they stop now? Why would they sabotage themselves by going out and getting hammered or using drugs or starting to develop these like pleasure-seeking behaviors? What I've learned is that when you're obsessed with a vision and you're goal focused and oriented and all your habits are building you up every day, you do not crave drugs and alcohol. You don't want to just be sitting on your phone scrolling all day. You don't crave that sugary, crappy food that everyone's addicted to. Like the vices and the things that come up as desires and the strong urges in people that pull them off track, that's a byproduct of you not having alignment through to your goals with your actions and self-talk. It happens. It literally swells up from within you. And all of a sudden, if you could trace it back, like, oh, what happened that day or that week that led me to wanting to go out and get drunk or to go binge eat or just to go sit around all day and watch TV or like to do something that you're going to regret. Typically, it was you getting out of alignment towards your goals and like you skipped the gym or, you were just making bad decisions. And all of a sudden, now you're craving something. It happens all the time. So if you want to be somebody that is not a slave to your cravings, you don't sabotage yourself. It's literally about getting crystal clear on where you want to go and aligning your daily actions and thoughts to that outcome. Now, the fifth thing I want to point out that really, really hampers people in their journey to becoming their best selves and living the ultimate life. Like this is something that I think most people can relate to. It's you're scared of being judged by other people and you're worried about their opinions. And that's why you don't achieve what you want in life. You don't quit the job you hate. You don't make the radical change you need to make. Like you don't actually transform yourself because all the people that know you as a certain version of yourself. And once you start changing, they make comments, maybe even they ridicule you. It's really insane how this happens. But if you have a family and everyone drinks and smokes, right? Like that's how I grew up. Uncles, cousins, parents. And you start getting sober, at first they might be like, oh, good job, But then a couple weeks go by or a couple months go by and they invite you out to the bar. It's a Saturday night and everyone's drinking and you don't want to partake. Now they're going to start to make comments to you. Oh, what? You think you're too good? Oh, there's like Johnny. He's too good to drink with us. Like they start saying these underhanded comments that undermine you and what you want to change. And this goes for, money too, or work. Like you want to stop working that 9 to 5 you hate and your whole family or all your friends work the 9 to 5s and you want to become a business owner or an entrepreneur. They're going to start to clown you, right? Oh, you can't do it. Oh man, that market's saturated. Oh, like what if you fail? People are going to judge you no matter what. The harshest judgments typically come from the people who are closest to you. And what I'll tell you is this. People are going to judge you no matter what. They're going to judge you if you get sober or if you stay drunk. They're going to judge you if you're fat and out of shape or you go to the gym every day. They're going to judge you if you eat a bunch of bad food or if you eat nothing but clean food. No matter what you do, people will judge you, no matter what. So make sure that you're making the change in your life that's meaningful to you, right? So when people judge you, it's because you're doing the stuff that's going to fulfill you and lead you to a better, more productive life down the road. You don't want to get to the end of your life and look back and go, oh man, I'm glad that I didn't change because I didn't want to make those people not like me, but I didn't live the life I wanted. And I wish I had a second chance. Like that'll just wreck you and ruin you. Make sure when you get to the end of your life, you're like, hell yeah, I did everything I wanted to do. I faced my fears. I went after my goals and, I didn't worry about what people were going to think about me. And guess what? I always say this, but the people that truly care about you, they're going to be there by your side and they're going to support you. But at the end of the day, you got to do what's right for you, man, because you get to live this life once. Now, last thing I want to share when it comes to 6 reasons why people don't achieve their goals is because they're scared to get uncomfortable. You're letting your fear define you and how you live your life. You're making decisions based on fear and doubt. And when you make decisions based on fear and doubt, you'll never get what you want. When it comes to really changing your life and creating a life by design and getting exactly what you want, you got to get out into that unknown that's unpredictable, that's unfamiliar to you, and you got to go create that life. Now, for humans, we do not like to get uncomfortable. We would rather stay stuck in the comfort zone of our lives where things aren't the way we want them to be, where we have a bunch of issues with our lives, versus getting out of that unknown where we can create something better because it's so uncomfortable for us. How crazy is that? So what I'll tell you is that your fear is not real unless You allow it to define the way you live. Then it becomes real. Then it's going to hinder and hamper your life. At any moment, you could choose to face your fear, to get uncomfortable, and to go after the goals and the changes that you want to make. But it's going to cost you your comfort. You're not going to feel pleasant or always elated in that process. You're going to be a little scared. You're going to be put under pressure, but that pressure is what's going to force you to grow and change. And I would just tell you to lean into that feeling. And the worst thing that could ever happen, right? Oh my gosh, you go out after your goals and dreams and it doesn't work out. Well, at least you went after it, right? Imagine being the person that never knows because you never tried. For the people that do get out into the unknown and go after their goals and dreams, it always works out for you. The one time it doesn't go your way, you find a way to make it even better than you intended. It always works out for the people that are willing to keep moving forward, keep learning, and keep growing. It never works out for the people that stay stuck because they're too scared to get out of that comfort zone. And so those 6 things that I just shared with you guys, if you could start to correct a couple of them in your life right now, get clarity on who you want to be, get clear on that vision and that goal, cut out the negative self-talk each and every day and recognize that that negative dialogue is not real. It's not true. You can face it any day and prove it false through positive action by creating the right habits each and every day that align to your vision and your goals. Cut out the pleasure-seeking behavior, the toxic people. Don't worry about being judged because no matter what you do, you're going to be judged. So just ignore those individuals and then let the fear go and be willing to get out of your comfort zone and go chase your dreams. If you could focus on those things, I promise you in 5 years from now, you can have a completely different life, one that you truly love, not one that you're sick and tired of living.